Hello, happy Friday, everybody. Hello, YouTube. Hello, Internet. We meet again. Can't help saying it. Um, I hope everybody's Friday is going good. I just wanted to do a live stream. I actually was just gonna do like a short video because I found something that was just like, whoa, okay, that's huge. So I've got to make a video about it. But I usually talk so much that I go for at least 30 minutes on those short videos that I just want to be like 5 or 10 minutes or something like that. So I decided just to do a live stream. I don't have any music ready or anything, but I do want to show this really important video. I kind of wanted to wait for a couple people to get into the chat room to see this. So let me go ahead and open that window so I can see you guys coming in the chat. And welcome to anybody coming in. I hope you're having a relatively comfortable Friday. I woke up at like 7 p.m. Central Time, and the middle, like I wear these grounding straps, which really help with the remote neural manipulation. It actually stops an artificial signal that's going down through my nervous system and then back up to wherever my attackers want to create pain. But this middle one is so messed up. It's like so old, and it's got dirt on it, so it slips off constantly. And so it slipped off really early when I was sleeping, and it feels like what's happening is my attackers, because I'm sleeping in my Faraday bunker. So what's most effective for them to do to me in there is to do remote neural manipulation. So it signals to my brain, which are then sending artificial signals to my body, and it feels like heat and squeezing of my midsection. So I woke up and it felt like my back was broken. That's the closest description I can get to it to people who have not been targeted, but it's really an artificial firing of pain centers, like all in your nervous system, like around my back and then coming up to the front. And so it's like really hard to breathe, and it still hurts. Like I woke up at 7, it's like 10:30 Central Time, and it still really hurts, and it's like hard to breathe, and it's like at the bottom of my back, like up, like where kind of your kidneys are a little bit, and that's like one of the most painful things that my attackers do. When I sleep on my leather chair, they don't do that so much because I think they're getting more out of directed dreaming, and the external microwave hits to my body. So it's usually not as painful when I sleep on that leather chair. But now if I took my Faraday bunker away, like I tore it down and just slept without it, they would adapt. They would adapt to me sleeping without it, and then I'd be hurting a lot worse than what it is with the Faraday bunker. This stuff sucks. Oh, it sucks. And then I drove out at like 7 p.m. Just got out of my house, and I drove, to get some kratom from the head shop. It's like 30 minutes away. It's getting one light vehicles and stuff like that. Not too many. Not too many. But then on my way back, I went to a gas station, and I was like, I'm either gonna get some wine or some champagne or something. I don't have the bottle of champagne. It's in my kitchen, but I got a bottle of Brut champagne. I might drink that during this live stream, because I got a short video it's super important. And we always say, targeted individuals always say we need a celebrity or a politician to come out with this information so it can help people to understand that it's happening. We have that going on. We have that going on in spades. Many celebrities and singers and stuff like that are being, I don't think it's like the same sometimes as what we go through with the vicious torture and basically destroying our bodies. But it is a type of control, V2K and things like that. So, hey, Future Knowledge, Autumn, Seldridge, Wolverine, what up? Nothing much. I got some I got a lot of stuff to go through because I want to show y'all something really important up front. It's about Cardi B. And it's she's getting V2K or synthetic telepathy. She doesn't know what it is, you know. So I'm kind of gonna relate that to MK Ultra, but I just wanted to show you all this one thing. She says it in her own words, and she is. I mean, now who's doing it to her? Is a contractor doing it to her, or are Hollywood executives who have enough money to pay for private security to use these weapons in certain ways on their clients and things like that? Who is using them on her is a question, but is V2K being used on Cardi B? Yes, it is. And she has no idea what it is. Probably in her head, she's thinking it's some kind of demonic thing, or you know, when you get hooked up in the Illuminati or whatever, they do weird stuff, and she doesn't really understand it, but she does explain either synthetic telepathy or V2K. Let's watch this clip. I got my hummus here. Hummus. My parents brought it to me while I was sleeping today. Put it in my refrigerator. If I didn't have my parents, I'd probably die of starvation and be in the streets. So I love hummus. Do y'all like hummus in the chat room? I love hummus. I could just live on hummus. I'm gonna go all over my face. So I'll just leave this right here. Okay, and let me go ahead and share my screen, guys. After this, there's a long article, and I was thinking about not going through that tonight and just doing a short video about this, but I was like, well, if I'm going to do a live stream, I might as well go through the article. But let me not get on that other subject first. Let me share my screen. Let me take this off. I don't know why I put that on my head. Cause I'm hip hop. I'm hip hop, guys. I guess that's why I put it on my head, because my hair looks like crap, but it always does. All right, so let me share my screen, guys. Welcome to the live stream. And I will be going through some important information. There's some articles that I want to go through. I'll explain that once I get to the articles. I don't want to go into all of it now. I feel like I'm going to forget because my memory is so bad. Like, artificially, I'm getting my short-term memory wiped as I talk. So I always feel like I have to explain everything that is going through my head, because if I don't, I'm not going to say it later on. It's going to be wiped. I mean, like just a minute ago, I got my hummus, and I was sitting here and I was like watching some kind of clip of a Joe Rogan show, kind of like looking up stuff on my computer to put on the live stream. And I brought my book sack, because I bring my book sack with all my supplements and anything important that's electronic, like my CD player that plays Dave Case CD. Put it all in a book sack whenever I go anywhere. Put it all in a book sack and then in my car. So I brought that back, and I have this little charger. And actually, James Lyko gave it to me a long time ago. And it's a little charger that you can charge like your phone or something like that. You can charge it up and then charge your phone or whatever when you're out. And I use it to charge my electronic cigarettes. So long story short, I can make any short story long, you know. I got the charger, which I use to charge my electronic cigarettes, which I have to put in the refrigerator, because if I don't put it in the refrigerator, this sounds crazy when I say it, but if I don't put the charger that charges the electronic cigarette into the refrigerator while it's charging the electronic cigarette, my attackers will like shoot external microwaves at the thing and shut it down. But I put the point of this story was I put the charger into the refrigerator, and then I sat back down, and then I immediately like looked in my book sack for the charger. And I was like, I need to start charging one of my electronic cigarettes. So immediately, right after I did it, it was gone. It was like gone. And that's just one example of like that happening all the time. So it kind of gets scary sometimes. Like I'll do something and then I don't remember it. And I'll maybe remember when I see the fit, like physically the charger wasn't there. So I'm like, oh, I already did that. That's a really scary thing, man. Okay, well, let me go to this video, guys. Excuse me. Oh, the hummus is making me burp. But welcome to the chat room. I hope y'all are having a, decent Friday night. Hope you're finding things that you love to do, fighting, still living life, even with this. Let me go to this before I start blabbing anymore. This is really important, guys. So check this out. I want to hear what y'all think in the chat room and in the comments. And I'll kind of talk about this after I show it. Here we go. So this is Vrillix. It's the YouTube channel is Vrillix. I'm sure some of you guys have checked it out. Cardi B blames voices in her head for her glitches. So let's check this out, and then I want to talk about it a little bit.
Hello everyone, Vrillix here. Before we start, I would like to quickly remind you to subscribe to the channel and to have the notifications turned on. I have had a lot of viewers tell me over the last few months that they do not get notifications of my videos, so I urge anybody who wants to be updated about my new content to go and double check that notifications for all videos are enabled. Cardi B recently did a video on her Instagram where she explains the reasons for her glitching out and says it's due to her hearing voices in her head.
Hey y'all, so I'm having a problem, right? Like a lot of people be saying, oh, I met Cardi B and I don't know if she liked me or not because she was looking at me like if I'm crazy or if I was retarded or something. But that's not the problem. The problem is that I have a voice in my head that when I'm talking to people, it just start having a conversation with me and I be replying back. Like you could be talking to me and the voice in my head, I don't know me, start asking me questions like, hey, what happened to your green Balenciaga shirt that you wore the other day? And then I reply back in my head like, I don't know, bitch, I think I left it at my grandma's house. And then me and the voice in my head start going back and forth. Why are you talking to me? So I'm really not paying attention. Man, it's fucking talking to me. I don't know if that shit happened to people. That shit be happening to me. So I just be looking at you like.
So you guys hear that, and what it sounds like to me, it sounds like audible V2K because she's saying voice in my head. Now, I know we experience it as targeted individuals, like you experience that inner voice that's not yours. And I think that that's actually, it's actually an electromagnetic vibration that they're pushing through your throat and your jaw, because that's how our attackers hear our inner voice. Because every time you think something in your inner voice, your jaw and your throat are doing these tiny vibrations. So that's why, like, I got attacked in the throat really hard for the first couple of years, to where I thought they were just trying to choke me, but they were trying to get that frequency lock into my throat and my jaw, and then they can push back. If they can read your inner voice, they can push back. They can do the reverse, and then they can have something show up as your inner voice, which is not your inner voice. It's something that they're maybe saying into the V2. It's like silent sound V2K. Could be a number of things. Could be silent sound V2K, where it's like basically subliminal microwave auditory effect, or it could actually be pushing electromagnetic vibrations back into your throat and your jaw. I think we're going to have to find out more about those specific methods. But it sounds like, and like I go through this, like on the drive, just the drive tonight, I'm getting V2K, and you think thoughts back at the V2K. Like they're like, mine usually, it's not stuff like, why didn't you wear your whatever kind of pants? It's like, get out of here, or you're crazy, or something like that. And I'll just be like, no, you're crazy. I say it in my inner voice. I used to actually speak back to it a lot, which I've been talking to a lot of other targeted individuals back about. And it really helps not to talk to your attackers when they're doing this kind of stuff. But it sounds to me like she's actually describing V2K. and she's a huge star. She's a huge star, and she's caught up, you know, she's caught up in all this stuff, and people think she's Illuminati or whatever. But this is a huge Hollywood, like, you know, it's a big pop singer who is experiencing neuroweapons, who's experiencing microwave auditory effects. You know, I don't know if it's you know, this is what I conjecture. I conjecture that whoever she signed up with, like whatever kind of company and executives in Hollywood she signed up with, I think that they do this to them to get more control over their assets. So they contract private security companies like Black Cube or other places, but the executives who own her contract know that this is being done to them and actually have input on what is being said through the V2K or something like that. However, there is a percentage chance that it might just be some of these contractors, some of these private contractors from the DoD, you know, saying, oh, this is a big star. We kind of want to see what she experiences and go into her head. It's good for research and development. It's good for learning about this and that. Could be that. But I think the bigger possibility is it's the people who basically own her contract. You know, they've got the money and they've got connections to private security industry that will do this on a contractual basis for these like Hollywood companies that have tons of money in them. So, but here it is. I mean, here's a huge star that millions and millions of people watch her music saying she is experiencing V2K. She's experiencing a voice that says, why didn't you wear those pants or something like that? And then she's talking back to it in her inner voice, saying, you know, I didn't wear them because of this or that. And like, she seems to not understand what's going on. She'll probably see it in a more spiritual way, is what I think. She'll be like, oh, it's demons or something like that, or evil spirits. I think that's probably what will happen. But here it is, man. And I mean, can you imagine if Cardi B is going through this? And she seems to talk about just whatever's on the top of her head. Like, so she's going to talk about this stuff, even if it's dangerous, because she doesn't know any better. God bless her for that. I mean, I don't know what all she's into. I don't watch her music that much. I kind of listen to some of the videos about her maybe being an Illuminati or whatever. But it's a good thing that she's speaking out. She's speaking out about this, not realizing, you know, how dangerous that could be for her, which, I mean, we've all got to do that. But it's like, then you think about the people who maybe didn't speak out, like Britney Spears, you know, Katy Perry, Kanye West. I actually, like, I was gonna, and I may do, you know, another live stream on this, but, you know, the Dave Chappelle thing kind of got me looking into it, and people are like saying some pretty crazy stuff like, oh, well, he's been replaced. He's a clone, this and that, because he has changed a lot. Like, he kind of went against these big executives that wanted to, they were gaslighting him before he left his show. And then he like turned down their contract and went to Africa, and they wanted to make him look crazy. They wanted to make him, they said that he was on crack and all this stuff when he really wasn't. Now, I think that those executives may have actually started targeting him at that point. He didn't return to comedy for like 10 years. And then when he did, he looked very different. He was like really buff. His voice was different. You know, he is a smoker, so that might be why his voice was different. But as somebody who's being hit with neuroweapons and microwaves, I look at him and I'm like, okay, wait, Dave Chappelle, he changed so much. He really buffed up, you know, he tried to get his strength up and his muscles going. And that's something as targeted individuals. If we do that, it can reduce a lot of the pain of these microwaves and things that they're doing with remote neural manipulation to our nervous systems. That's why I've got to get my fat butt, you know, on a treadmill or just running or something like that, because like, I think that, you know, when we work out, this pain that I'm talking about, where they're sending artificial signals to my back and it's just pulse pain that feels like my back's broken. When you strengthen up your muscles around the nerves, it's going to make whatever your attackers are doing artificially a lot less effective. When your muscles are kind of atrophied and you don't use them much, they can manipulate your nervous system and pain signals to certain muscles and nerve clusters a lot more when you're not working out. So I'm really going to try and get my butt in motion on that. And so anybody who's just entering the chat room, you know, welcome. I'm talking about this. Let's go ahead, you know, so since some more people probably came in the chat room, let's play the whole thing through. Played most of the important part, but I think this is really important information. And this is what, you know, I talked to a lot of targeted. I actually went to Ella's call last night that Sue was kind of guest hosting for the end part. And then I went to conference call after that. So I did go to the conference call and kind of, you know, talk to some targeted individuals I haven't talked to in a while. It was really nice. But when I'm talking to people who are going through this, that's a big thing that we say sometimes. We're like, well, we just need a senator to get hit with this. Not like, oh, I hope a senator gets hit with this, but we're saying we need famous people that will speak up to be being hit with this stuff, because it's going to help the whole thing to crumble, you know, because people listen to these famous people. They listen to senators and politicians. They got a lot of eyes on them, you know. So let me go ahead and redo this, guys. If you already heard it, I apologize, but I want to go ahead and play the whole thing through. And you guys talk about it in chat.
Hello everyone, Relax here. Before we start, I would like to quickly remind you to subscribe to the channel and to have the notifications turned on. I have had a lot of viewers tell me over the last few months that they do not get notifications of my videos, so I urge anybody who wants to be updated about my new content to go and double check that notifications for all videos are enabled. Cardi B recently did a video on her Instagram where she explains the reasons for her glitching out and says it's due to her hearing voices in her head.
Hey y'all, so I'm having a problem, right? Like a lot of people be saying, oh, I met Cardi B and I don't know if she liked me or not because she was looking at me like if I'm crazy or if I was retarded or something. But that's not the problem. The problem is that I have a voice in my head that when I'm talking to people, it just start having a conversation with me and I be replying back. Like you could be talking to me and the voice in my head, I don't know me, start asking me questions like, hey, what happened to your green Balenciaga shirt that you wore the other day? And then I reply back in my head like, I don't know, bitch, I think I left it in my grandma's house. And then me and the voice in my head start going back and forth while you talking to me. So I'm really not paying attention because the voice in my head is fucking talking to me. I don't know if that shit happened to people, that shit be happening to me. So I just be looking at you like, because I'm talking, I'm having a whole conversation in my fucking thoughts. That's why.
This is likely in reference to the infamous glitch she had on the red carpet of the 2018 Grammy Awards. This apparently is not an isolated incident, as Cardi B refers to several incidences like this and speaks of it as a regular occurrence. This is reminiscent of a previous video I did about a year ago, where in an interview with GQ, she proclaimed to have 100 people working in her brain, and that she wishes it could be examined because it's not normal. As I reported in the video I did covering this a year ago, this behavior from Cardi is indicative of MKUltra mind control. And this recent admission...
And the people, and I want to add to what he's saying, because I think that he's coming from a place of MKUltra mind control, that could be hypnosis and stuff like that, but he's not really, he doesn't have access to the information about neuroweapons and microwave auditory effect and all these technologies that can be used, to do this to people. So he's like MKUltra mind control, a general term to talk about things that people don't really understand exactly what protocols and techniques are used, but we do. We understand that, so we can add our knowledge of what's happening to target individuals to these situations that other alternative media is saying, well, it's MK Ultra mind control. It's some kind of thing that they're doing. You know, we're not sure. Drugs, hypnosis, satanic ritual. You know, these things. I think I'll go ahead and play this video, guys. I didn't want to make the live stream too long, but I think, you know, since we're here and you guys are in chat, I don't know, I might go grab my, I might go grab my champagne, and we'll go ahead and watch this other video too before I get to the article. It's just a really, really long article, and there's 4 parts to the article, which I'm going to go over on other videos, and it's so important. I'll explain why, but let's stick on this. I'm going to try and get my head to just stick on this subject for right now. Let's finish this one, and then I think I'm going to go ahead and go to the other video that he did. The I have like 100 people working in my brain.
Cardi B only serves to reinforce the idea that MK Ultra is being used. As I have also covered in a previous video, Cardi B is no stranger to symbolism, and she has used it very frequently in her rapid rise to stardom. This frequent use of symbolism is right in line with what we would come to expect from someone in her position, as well as these tactic admissions of MK Ultra mind control.
I guess all I gotta say is you make a deal with the devil and you're gonna get burnt. So I can see, I guess that's being mean because I don't know the whole situation with Cardi B. I haven't really looked into her whole life and stuff like that. But it seems different, you know, than me or other targeted individuals going through this. I didn't sign up. I didn't sign my soul away. I didn't make some deal with the devil, and I'm getting, you know, tortured. Microwave auditory effect, V2K, and then, you know, remote neural manipulation. But it's like it's almost like some of these actors and singers, they're asking for it. You know, they're making a lot. They're like signing their life away to these Hollywood executives, which probably a lot of them have ties to, obviously have ties to, I guess, the cabal or the Illuminati, Masonic, what's the word for it? Just Masonic agencies, I guess, that have access to this technology and actually have connections with, private security contractors like Black Cube, which is a lot of ex-Mossad, and then there's probably a bunch of other ones like that. So in addition to the DoD giving contracts to all these private security firms and private contractors advancing these weapons, there's other worlds, there's whole other systems where these microwave weapons are being used for different purposes and different protocols. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish up this video.
Is Cardi B an Illuminati puppet under MK Ultra mind control? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you wish to support the channel and want some more in-depth, comprehensive, and controversial content, please support me on Patreon. Thanks for watching, guys. Till next time, this is Frillex.
All right, guys, so I'm going to go to
what's going on?
That other one. Okay, let's watch this one. It's only 5 minutes.
Hello everyone, Frillex here. Cardi B recently did a video for GQ where she was responding to certain comments on social media. During the video, she made this remark.
Why with those weird sounds? I'm just a comedian at heart. Like, I have like 100 people working in my, like inside my brain. I always been like this in school, everything. It just makes me feel good. Like I don't know why I do it. My head functions really differently. I wish somebody could like go inside my ear, go to my brain, and find out what's going on over there because it's not normal.
This is a clear example of MK Ultra mind control. As we already know, the music industry is run by the elite, and the musicians who rise to prominence are really just puppets being controlled by the elite in order to push their own evil agenda. The primary method of control used by the elites is MK Ultra. MK Ultra is the codename given to the CIA's mind control program, which was a program of experiments conducted on human subjects.
I think, and that's why I kind of want people in the alternative news and conspiracy fact news, I guess. We need to find new ways that go around conspiracy theory news, because that's become a term of like, okay, oh, this means that it's just conspiracy theory and it's not true. But I wish these guys in alternative news would really look into neuroweapons and the microwave auditory effect and know that this technology, this remote microwave technology and really remote electromagnetic spectrum technology. I mean, that's what we're looking at with directed energy weapons and neuroweapons. We're looking at, like, my attackers can go up and down a certain portion of the electromagnetic spectrum. That's why, like, when I put my Faraday bunker up, it worked perfectly. Like, there was no external microwaves coming through for like a whole month. Like, it was blocking everything. But then, they go a little bit up or a little bit down the electromagnetic spectrum and try things to get through that aluminum, a different electromagnetic frequency that's not going to be stopped by that. And then they can get through a little bit. They adapt like that. But my point is that I wish that some of these alternative news, they would maybe just stop saying in general MK Ultra and talk about what MK Ultra then turned into. Because I think when these agencies say, hey, we stopped doing MK Ultra, I don't think they're lying. I just don't think they're telling the whole truth. I think MK Ultra became Project Monarch. It took on different names, all these different protocols of what they're doing to us and the things that they're doing in Hollywood to some of these actors and singers. It's not really MK Ultra anymore. It goes under different project headings now. But then again, I mean, MK Ultra is kind of how the public is identifying with this issue right now. So, but let me go ahead and let him finish.
Common methods of MK Ultra have been drugging, hypnotism, torture, and surgery on an individual level, as well as efficient propaganda methods combined.
See, like that's the thing. It's like he's a truth teller, and he's an alternative news guy, and he's hitting on something. He's found something that MK Ultra, but then he's like talking about MK Ultra from the 70s. And even when they were doing it in the 70s, they were using electromagnetic frequencies. So nowadays, they don't need to drug somebody up and get somebody sitting in front of them to do hypnosis, although they probably still use those older techniques along with the newer techniques. I just wish these guys would really study these weapons that have been mass manufactured, because they're being used all over the place, not just on targeted individuals who are swept up into this program, but all over Hollywood, probably all over in Washington with these important people. They're being used on very intelligent people, who have no idea what it is. And, I hope that Cardi B will maybe figure some of this stuff out and start speaking about it. But this is definitely a celebrity that it's happening to, that these directed energy weapons, these neuro weapons, and the microwave auditory effect is being used on. Now, is it her handlers? Is it the people who basically own her contract? Or is it private security firms like the ones attacking us that just decided to do this to a huge singer to see what kind of information they could get out of that. I don't know. I would say, you know, and I said this earlier in the video, biggest percentage chance it's people that are connected to owning her contract, the executives that she works for, and the people that they're connected to, the private security firms that they're connected to that have this technology to do this to people who they want to punish or they want to control, you know.
And with neuro-linguistic programming through mass media, accompanied by subliminal messages which targeted conditioning on the one world government on a societal level. Monarch programming is a mind control technique. It enlists a combination of psychological, neuroscience, and occult rituals to create in the victim an alternative personality which can be triggered and programmed by the handlers. The emphasis of monarch programming is gaining mind control over single individuals. To prevent attention and speculation from society, the ruling elite also conduct a systematic conditioning of mankind through predictive programming. Cardi B's fast rise to fame is clearly planned and controlled by the elite. She is one of the latest in the new wave of celebrities to sell out to the elite, which is why she had such a fast rise to prominence. Let's not forget this other recent example of Cardi B having an MK Ultra mind control glitch on the red carpet of the 2018 Grammy Awards.
Now, God, you know what that looks like to me? You know, and I have this happen to me, but I handle it a lot better. I think I've handled it a lot better from the beginning. Like having somebody with having audible V2K that I'm hearing when I'm like sitting there talking to my dad or talking to my mom, or I'm in a convenience store buying something, and the dude on my audible V2K is like, "You're a faggot," or "Get out of here," or something like that. I don't react at all. I'm like reacting to the external stuff that's going on around me, the people that are talking to me. But that right there, what Cardi B just did, it's almost like somebody was yelling that she was having audible V2K, and she was like, what they say? You know, like she was reacting like that. That's what that looked like to me. Like she was getting communication with either audible V2K, well, probably audible V2K, because I think if it was just synthetic telepathy, you know, that inner voice stuff that they hit us with, you know, she probably wouldn't have reacted so strongly. But that really does. And I didn't think about that till now. I had seen this before. I had seen it. Hold on, I got to text my dad back real quick. You guys talk amongst yourselves. The peanut is neither a pea nor a nut. I need to get some more of those. It's from that Saturday Night Live with Michael Myers, where he plays the coffee talk lady. Hold on one second. Let me text my dad back real quick, y'all. Okay, so oh, where was I? I'd seen this before. Like I'd seen this red carpet thing where she kind of did that. She had that glitch, like, whoa, what's up? And I was just like, what I said in my mind is I'm like, oh yeah, there's probably some kind of MK Ultra, but I didn't really equate it to the weapons that we're being hit with. And I was like, oh, well, it's either MK Ultra, some kind of thing, or hypnosis that they were doing to her before that kind of just kind of came to her at that moment. You know, it was like a flashback at that moment. Or I was like, or I said the other thing that it could have been was like cocaine. Like she was doing a bunch of cocaine and partying before the thing, and she just like her brain just kind of spasmed because she was doing some cocaine or something. Now, after hearing her talk about having audible V2K, and I you know, I'm like, well, either audible V2K or synthetic telepathy, the inner voice thing. But really the way she talks about it, how the voice says, hey, where's those pants? And she's like, hey, oh, I left those at my grandmother's. So that's what like the V2K, the Audible V2K will do that to me. I had left a jacket at my friend's house. That like it's actually an example that's very, very close to this. And they like to, the attackers like to do this because they want you to know that they have information about, like you left a jacket somewhere and you forgot about it. You don't know about it, but they have recorded that information and they're trying to shock and awe you, you know, give you some shock and awe. But I left this blue jacket at my friend's house, and this was like 2 years ago or 3 years ago. I think 3 years ago. And I don't talk to him much nowadays. And he was like one of my best childhood friends. But they on the V2K, they were like, "Where's your blue jacket? Where's your blue jacket?" And I was like, and I hadn't thought about it. I didn't even think about leaving it at the friend's house. And then I thought about it, and I was like, "Oh, I left that at Frank's house." So they like to do that stuff because it makes them feel. It doesn't make them feel like this, but it's supposed to psyop the target into being like, "Oh, they've got this information. They can see all. They know all. They see all." You know. But let's go ahead and finish this video up. When I first saw this though, before hearing that other video where she's like, I have a voice talking to me and that's why I'm like spacing out in front of you, because she's having a conversation in her head with that Audible V2K. I thought, you know, it's either she was doing some cocaine and just having fun partying or whatever, and her kind of just, it got to her, or I was thinking, okay, MK Ultra type hypnosis or something that she had experienced that like a handler did to her a while back that was just, it came to the surface in that moment. But now I look at that and I'm like, somebody just yelled in her head. Like somebody just used V2K to yell something in her head at that moment, because they're trying to do that stuff to her. They're trying to do it in very uncomfortable situations where she has to be on. She has to either be singing or be talking to the media or something like that. And they're trying to kind of, you know, they're trying to make her look, they're trying to cause some stuff like that. But here we go. She seems shocked, you know. It's like she's shocked. It's not like she's going into a trance or anything. That's not what it seems like to me. It's kind of like that, you know, what just happened? Like being shocked, being consciously shocked of what is happening. So I'm thinking like audible voice that said something to her right then, and she's like, what? I got an audible voice right at this moment. What the hell? That's kind of what I'm thinking. You guys put what y'all think in the chat. And I've learned from pretty early on, you know, even if I do react to the V2K when I'm not around people, I would I can, you know, because right now I've got Audible V2K, sounds like it's coming from my left while I'm doing this video, and you have to learn techniques to
all of these signs
ignore it.
Just creative expression, and just happen to coincidentally fall in line with all the symbolism we have come to expect from replaced celebrities is asinine. By now you should know that when it comes to the elite, there are no coincidences. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, guys. Until next time, this is Lex.
All right, guys, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second. We'll go back to seeing my beautiful face with my proto beard. It's the beginning of a beard. Let me come in the chat room and see who came in and stuff. Hey, Source Player. Hey, Jeff. Hey, Tamara. Hey, John Marie. John Marie, you say topic V2K. I'm showing I wanted to show that stuff about Cardi B. The most important video was the one at the beginning, and she, from where I'm sitting and what I've experienced and how she's talking about Audible V2K. You know, she's talking about having Audible V2K, like a microwave auditory effect that sounds like audible voices, and then she has conversations with those voices in her own inner voice. But then I'm going to shift gears. Actually, I want to eat some more hummus real quick. I want to eat some more hummus and calm down, because like the whole center of my body is like pounding, and I'm having a hard time catching my breath. So I want to eat some hummus real quick and say hello to anybody coming in to chat. I just hope y'all are having a good night. Yeah, go back, Jean-Marie. Go back to the beginning, because or you can go to, well, I just go back to the beginning of my video. Yeah, Cardi B saying that, you know, she's like talking to somebody, and she has an audible voice that's saying, hey, what happened to these pants that you were wearing? She's like, oh, I think I left them at my grandmother's. Like, she's saying that in her inner voice back to them. So, you know. Yeah, Vrillix has some good videos, but if you notice, he's talking, and this is what's kind of like, I wish that those guys would learn about this technology, because you can look at these situations and they become demystified. There's a lot of you look at these things that are happening and you think satanic magic, or, you know, demons taking control of you, and it mystifies the situation. And what we want to do, and even as a Christian, I want to do this, we've got to demystify this technology, you know, even AI and stuff like that. But it is something that's technological, with humans operating it. It demystifies it. It takes power away from it when it becomes less magical, you know. Yeah, so I go back and hey, Charles, you say, oh, so now you know who gets mystified? I think a lot of people I think that a lot of targeted individuals, you know, still mystify a lot of this stuff. It's not their fault or anything, because we can't see it. I mean, like, we can't have a remote platform right in front of us and say, oh, okay, they're talking into this microphone, and then there's an RF modulator, and the RF modulator turns that radio frequency into a microwave, and then that microwave is shot at somebody's head. You know, it's like just a voice in somebody's head. Oh, that's a magical demon or something like that. But I want to say something, kind of like, when people say that like our attacks are, you know, demonic, and it's demonic spirits, I want to give y'all a comparison, what I feel when I hear that. I feel like this is a spoon, right? This is a spoon. It's made out of metal. It's a technology. I mean, it's not like an advanced technology. This is a primitive technology. We had to learn how to make tools to put food in our mouths, right? You hear somebody that's saying this, you know, the voice, the V2K, or getting externally hit by microwaves, that's like demonic spirits. I think, okay, it's like somebody telling me this spoon is made out of demonic spirits. That's how I feel. So I just want to tell guys, I'm not trying to jump on anybody or put down how they think about things, but I do want to tell you how I feel about that. Like, when somebody tells me that this is spirits, magical spirits and stuff like that, I say it's like somebody telling me this spoon is made out of demonic spirits. And now, if I believe that this spoon is made out of demonic spirits, what can I do with it? I can't eat with it. I can't throw it away. I can't do anything to this spoon because it's made out of demonic spirits, right? So, but what can I do with this spoon if I understand that it's made out of metal, and that I can eat with it, and that I can throw it away if I want to, and it goes away? You know, if we understand these things, how they really are, we can fight against them better. We can deal with them better. So that's what I mean when I say demystify. And I'm a Christian, and you know, I have faith that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, that He is my Savior. I believe that a God creator is an objective fact, you know, and I do believe in the spiritual. I do believe in the spiritual and something more than just frequency and energy. We're connected to something. But you know, where it comes to these weapons and what's happening with people in this specific, if you are a targeted individual in the way of being hit with these weapons with the gang stalking program, because I know that there is spiritual oppression too. So those are kind of two different things, and we lump them all into one. So Paul says, hey, Paul, I pray for all TIs all over the world. I love and care about each and every one of you, even if you don't. What's the, Paul, even if you don't? Who are you talking to on that? Because you say that every time. Are you talking to me? Are you saying, like, even if I don't care about people? I don't know. Okay. All right, guys. So after the spoon metaphor, I'm trying to remember what was coming next. Okay, I'm going to read this article, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. And I don't think that's what Paul means. I guess maybe he's talking to people who target others or mean people. Okay, lost my train of thought. Hold on, let me get a drink of my NOS apple. It's green apple. It's so good. This is the best energy drink I've ever drank in my life. Okay, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and pull up this article. I'm going to share my screen here. And now I got this article from ABC. Like, I went on the conference call last night and found this awesome article. And lately, where is it? I think I lost the article. Oh, here it is. Hold on. Here it is right here. And, you know, like I think I said it on a video. I'm not sure. I know I said it on the conference call. But I was kind of talking to, I think I was maybe talking to somebody off of the video, off of my videos. And I said, you know, it's weird because I haven't seen anything about the Cuban embassy attack since September. But this is an article from actually this February about the Cuban embassy attack and how it's affecting Canadians. So whenever I see a story like this, I want to jump on these stories that don't just have to do with Americans being hit by these weapons, but people in Canada, people in England, and stuff like that. You know, we do need to see this in a global sense. But you know, my personal mindset is like, if I understand how America is doing this, like how the Pentagon and the DoD and DARPA, you know, work together to establish a protocol, and then these the weapons that they're doing this protocol with are mass manufactured. The contracts are sent down to the private contractors. If I can talk about that and how it works in America, then it's a blueprint for every country, because it's not going to be that different in every country. Now, I think that the certain countries, the United States intelligence agencies and these contractors, they're going to have international contractors that work in a bunch of different countries. In some countries, it's going to be their own military industrial complexes, maybe getting help from the UK, or maybe getting help from Russia, or maybe getting help from America, or maybe getting help from China with these new technologies. But we have to understand that every country out there has their own military industrial complex, and they cooperate or compete with other military industrial complexes of other countries like that. So you know, just by me talking about how you know, the American system of these weapons works, I feel like people in other countries can kind of get a blueprint for probably how it works. The agencies are probably going to be called different things. the security contractors and everything, and their Pentagon will be called something else besides the Pentagon, you know, but they're basically the same setups, because the hierarchy at the top is basically making these other little pyramids under it that take the same form in these different countries. But this is kind of a long article, guys, so I kind of want to get into it. And there's 4 parts to this. So this is about the Canadian ambassadors and their families in Cuba. And I knew that there were Canadian ambassadors that also experienced this, and Canadians who had been attacked by these remote microwave weapons, but I had not delved into it a lot. So thank you, ABC. He's on the conference calls. He gave me this article. And we're going to go ahead and read it. It's pretty long, but I do want to just go through the whole thing. And then on my other videos, I'll go through, there's like 4 different parts to this. And it's a big deal because these Canadian victims of this, they are suing, they're suing the Canadian government for, I think, $28 million. It could be more. We'll get into that when I'm reading the article. Okay, so let's start out. This is from the Ottawa Citizen from February 28, 2019 by Elizabeth Payne. The Havana Syndrome, why Canadian diplomats have accused their government of abandoning them. The Havana Syndrome has plagued diplomats serving in Cuba. So they're calling it the Havana Syndrome. And we know as targeted individuals, no questions about it, these are directed energy weapon systems, neuro weapon systems. I mean, that's what this is. That's what happened in Cuba. Either the Cuban intelligence or Russia supplying them with these weapons, or some intelligence agency or security contractor doing this on somebody's orders. I personally, let's not get into my personal feelings. Let me read the article. Okay. This is part 1 of a special series. For many Canadian diplomats with young families, it was a dream posting. Life in Havana was busy, pleasant, and generally sunny. Diplomats and their families enjoyed year-round sports: tennis, golf, swimming, snorkeling, sailing, and horseback riding. Diplomatic staff played ultimate frisbee in neighborhood parks. There were minor complications. They had to spend part of their annual leave back home doing rounds of medical appointments and stocking up on supplies, for example. But life in the upscale Havana neighborhood of Miramar, where many international diplomats lived, a community dotted with colonial homes, embassies, and palm trees, was family friendly. Their children attended the International School of Havana, founded by a British expatriate in 1965. It was a progressive school that emphasized academics and sports and catered to children of the diplomatic community. Such was the life diplomat Alan, his wife, and their 2 teenage sons were living in 2017 on their second posting to Cuba. They frequently socialized. Their boys went to a good school. They were involved in sports, and their buddies were in and out of the house. We had a nice house. We had a good life down there, Alan said. Then everything changed in ways that at first the family didn't understand. Okay, so I have to turn when people are like texting me a bunch on these videos. I'll answer you after the after I finish the live stream. Okay, where was I? Then everything changed in ways that at first the family didn't understand. Alan, as he is identified in legal documents, is one of 15 people, including 5 diplomats and their families from the Ottawa area, who are suing the federal government for $28 million in connection with mysterious health issues they suffered when they were posted to Cuba. The suit alleges, hey, and okay, hold on, I'm gonna stop. Jeff, if you're in the chat room, I'll call you after this live stream so we can talk, man. I'll go ahead and just call you after this live stream. Okay, where was I? Oh, hold on. Let me take another sip of my energy drink and then start over, guys. Because my brain got very distracted. I'm like, sometimes I feel like that. Have y'all ever seen that that movie Up with the old guy, and he has all the balloons that bring the house around, and it goes into like this other dimension or something, and there's the dog that's like talking. The dog talks, and then it goes squirrel. Like it sees a squirrel, and it's like squirrel, and forgets everything that it was talking about. Sometimes my ADD, my artificially induced ADD from continual post-traumatic trauma, it makes me feel like that. I get distracted. Okay, so let's get back into it. Allen, as he is identified in legal documents, is one of 15 people, including 5 diplomats and their families from the Ottawa area, who are suing the federal government for $28 million in connection with mysterious health issues they suffered when they were posted to Cuba. The suit alleges the Canadian government failed to properly inform, protect, treat, and support the Canadians. Throughout the crisis, Canada downplayed the seriousness of the situation, hoarded and concealed critical health and safety information, and gave false, misleading, and incomplete information to diplomatic staff, the suit alleges. And this is a little bit of editorial. We know why Canada tried to cover this up. Because Canada also has private contractors and agencies in Canada working with this technology. And if they reveal a lot about what Cuban intelligence or maybe Russian intelligence, I don't know, did to the American workers in Cuba and the Canadian workers in Cuba, then it's going to reveal a lot about what they're doing with these weapons. Okay, so during the past few years, the lawsuit contends Canadian diplomatic families in Havana have been targeted and injured, suffering severe and traumatic harm by means that are not clear, but may be some type of sonic or microwave weapon. The brain injuries they've experienced, similar to injuries suffered by American diplomats posted to Cuba, are now known as Havana syndrome. The complainant's allegations have not been tested in court. In the wake of the lawsuit, this newspaper spoke to a number of the diplomats now home in the Ottawa area. They spoke on the condition of anonymity, saying they still fear for their security and that of their families. Many of the Canadian diplomats are struggling not only with health issues, but with anxiety and fear. Diplomat Allen, which is the pseudonym he uses in the lawsuit, admits he is shaken by some of the negative comments people have posted on the bottom of stories about the case, suggesting the symptoms are invented. At the start of a lengthy interview, he asked his newspaper, what did you think the first time you heard about this? Did you believe it? In the late winter of 2017, the previously healthy members of the Allen family began experiencing symptoms from nosebleeds to headaches that they couldn't explain. They would wake up with excruciating headaches. They experienced nausea and vision problems. Their youngest son, 12, was getting as many as 4 nosebleeds a day, even passing out. Mrs. Allen began hearing high-pitched noises. The couple became uncharacteristically irritable. Yep, like my entire life now is uncharacteristically irritable, which at this point I'm really trying to combat with really working on the spirit, working on something deeper than just my physical mind and my physical body, which is really helping. There's things that we have to adapt to where you know, we really have to adapt in ways and change everything, because the whole point of, you know, this trauma-based mind control and this, you know, directed energy weapon torture and the remote neural manipulation is to use humanity's normal instincts against you. So we really have to take it up a notch, and, you know, really ascend our spirit, you know, in a lot of different ways. And I think that we can help everything. You know, everything physical can be helped by strengthening the spirit, and everything spiritual can be helped by strengthening the physical. It's a cycle. It's a cycle without one, you can't have the other. But I guess you can have the spirit after death, but we're not sure what that looks like or what that's going to be like. Okay, the couple became uncharacteristically irritable. We knew there was something, but we just couldn't figure out what was going on. And then one evening in early April, there was a knock on their door. An American diplomat who lived across the street asked if Alan would go for a walk. Living in Cuba, we understood that our houses were bugged. What Alan learned shook him. His neighbor told him a dozen Americans had already been evacuated from Havana after suffering from symptoms including nausea, headaches, nosebleeds, hearing, and eye problems. He told Alan the symptoms were believed to be a result of the attacks with some kind of weapon, maybe sonic. It just hit me. Holy crap, this is going on in my house. The American diplomat was upset that the U.S. government had not told the Canadians about the situation. His colleagues had been sworn to secrecy, and he hadn't yet been gagged, so he took the opportunity to warn Alan, because we lived so close, and he thought we were in danger. The next day, Alan went to the ambassador, who began high-level talks, but warned Alan not to tell his Canadian colleagues, allegedly saying, "We don't want to start mass hysteria." On June 1st, 2017, Alan woke up around 3 a.m. to a grinding, screeching, metallic noise that filled the bedroom of their home and lasted about 30 seconds. As it faded, the sound slowed down and became lower. He was paralyzed with nausea. At the low point, I thought I was going to throw up. I was nauseous like you wouldn't believe. I don't know whether I went back to sleep or passed out. His son came into the bedroom upset and covered in blood from a severe nosebleed. His wife took him back to his room where she changed his bloody sheets and clothes. That's a 12-year-old boy. That's a 12-year-old boy who's being hit with these weapons. And I guarantee you guys that 5-year-old girls in this country, 6-year-old boys, 7-year-old girls, they're being hit with these weapons. Not all of them, of course, but they're these evil people who are trying to advance these weapons and trying to experiment on certain personalities, certain age groups, blah, blah, blah. They are taking the whole spectrum of human existence, and they've got to concentrate experimentation on the nervous system and the brain, behaviors of all these groups, from placenta. No, well, I don't know about placenta. From a baby in the womb to an old woman on her deathbed. All those in between, man, woman, different cultures, and everything. So I mean, people have to realize this, So it's too much, Okay. Alan woke up in the morning feeling awful. The next day, Alan went to tell the ambassador what had happened. On the way up the stairs at the embassy, a colleague jokingly asked if he was drunk because he was stumbling. When he got to a high security zone inside the embassy, Alan swiped his card and looked at the keypad, but couldn't remember his code. He began randomly punching numbers. It wasn't like me. I had never done that. He told officials he could no longer wait for the Canadian embassy to take action. 2 days later, the family was sent to the University of Miami to undergo testing with a doctor who had examined at least 20 Americans who had been based in Havana. All 4 members of the Allen family were diagnosed with traumatic brain injuries akin to concussions. The physician recommended the children not return to Cuba, saying they need to be away from Cuba for a while. Alan asked the Canadian embassy if he could send his sons directly to Ottawa from Miami, but that request was denied, according to the statement of claim. The family returned to Cuba, but quickly sent the boys ahead to Ottawa to stay with relatives. Alan and his wife followed soon after for a 3-week holiday. That break left them feeling refreshed and optimistic. Their health, which had been a worry for months, seemed better after the break in Canada. Since the Canadian diplomatic staff had not been allowed to talk to each other about their experiences, and they weren't aware of any other affected Canadians, the Allens hoped maybe it was a one-off thing and agreed to return to Cuba. They were hopeful their lives could return to normal, but cautious. We heard another family was pulling out. We were gone. They did not return to Havana for long, but October they were back in Ottawa for good, coping with worrisome symptoms, and waiting for medical assistance and information. Meanwhile, Other Canadians in Havana were suffering mysterious and debilitating symptoms. Diplomat Davies, his wife, and their 2 young children were having strange experiences in their nearby Havana house during the spring and summer of 2017. Early in the year, their young daughter began having difficulty concentrating at school. She suffered from nausea, tinnitus, or tinnitus-like sound. I'm going to say it. I said that, tinnitus-like sound, because it's not really tinnitus. Sensitivity to light, visual impairment, and, like the Allen children, suddenly nosebleeds, sometimes in the middle of the night. Mrs. Davies had complained about hearing high-pitched sounds. Then, during a game of Ultimate Frisbee with America and Canadian diplomats in a local park, Mrs. Davies suddenly fell to the ground. I no longer knew where was up and where was down, she told her concerned husband of the fall. The Davies family was sent back to the Ottawa area in August 2017. Mrs. Davies was diagnosed as having damage to her vestibular system, which includes parts of the inner ear and brain that process sensory information. And that makes a lot of sense because they have to, you know, they're with remote neural monitoring, especially if they were using remote neural monitoring on these people, they would be trying to tap into sensory information such as sight, sound. I don't know how much. I guess they can. I don't know about taste, but sight and sound are the most important things whenever these people are doing remote neural monitoring. So they're tapping into the vestibular system, parts of your brain, the occipital lobe. You got the occipital lobe, then you got the visual cortex, then your auditory cortex, and I'm sure there's something like the occipital lobe for auditory information too. And nerves from everywhere in your body run through into that vestibular system. They're part of that vestibular system of nerves in parts of the brain. Okay, so she was hypersensitive to light and noise, suffered from headaches, dizziness, and muscle twitching that would last for days. She often spent long parts of the day sleeping, like me. Probably like a lot of you guys out there. I was talking to another person with V2K last night, and I'm going to be talking to him more because like he seems to have gotten a lot of good techniques, and he's doing some of the things that he got from me, and he's finding some success. A strong dude. The guy who sent me this article, the guy who put it in chat, ABC, and he has V2K. And it's just like when he talks, he's saying stuff. He's about 2 years in. Like he's had V2K for like 2 years, and I've had V2K for like 8 years. But he's getting through it quicker. Like he's finding things and defenses, and on a will level, just using his will and his adaptation, he's doing it faster than I did it. So I'm like, yeah, I got to talk to him. I kind of got worried because I'll tell you guys something pretty crazy that happened. He was talking to me and he was telling me about a specific thing that they do on his V2K. And I don't even want to say it because I don't want to give y'all's attackers ideas because it's a viciously evil idea. My attackers had never done it to me. And after we finished talking, I got off the conference call. I was like, oh gosh, I'm glad my attackers don't do that. I couldn't even help but think it. I was trying to like, oh, I don't care. I could get through that anyway too. But they tricked me into thinking they were starting to do this protocol. But I think that they would have to actually change the chatterbox to do this thing. And I guess I'll just tell y'all in a simple way. Sometimes his attackers will just do like beeping sounds. And it will just be constant beeping sounds with audio, with V2K that you can hear, like the audible V2K. That's the only way. That's how I describe it because I know y'all understand. It's probably not the best way to say it, but his attackers do just beeping sounds, and they do that with Chatterbox and stuff like that. And so when I was going to sleep last night, I could hear my V2K. I had Dave Case's CD going, but I could still hear it. And they started doing this beeping sound. but they're not doing it today. They were doing it to try and scare me. But at one point I was like, okay, well, you know, even if they start doing that, I'll find a way through that. And, you know, because ABC has gotten through all that. I'm trying to think of it. The other, I like the other name. He, on the conference call, on the other, he's come up with a better, handle on conference calls. And I wish I could remember that one. I can't remember. Like, it's the first time I've been back to conference calls, so I saw a bunch of different handles, and new people and stuff. Okay, well, let's keep going with this article. She now works part-time, has to wear special glasses because of sensitivity to light and vestibular damage, and continues to suffer from headaches and to be easily overwhelmed by light and sounds. Their daughter had difficulty concentrating at school and had sudden nosebleeds, nausea, and light sensitivity, among other symptoms. She had tinnitus and heard 3 distinct sounds. Those sounds were so persistent that the little girl gave each one a name. So this was their daughter. The Davies family was sent back to Ottawa. Mrs. Davies. Okay, that's Mrs. Davies. Okay, their daughter. Okay. Okay. Davies has since had testing that has shown he has visual impairments and fusional facility problems, which are associated with brain injuries and can result in blurred vision, headaches, eye fatigue, motion sickness, and loss of concentration. He has had several strange episodes involving visual impairment and confusion, including one in which he could no longer see what he was writing in a notebook, and another in which he experienced confusion, flashbacks, and a sense of deja vu. The Davies are among diplomats undergoing testing at Dalhousie University's Brain Repair Center. Some of that research, he said, has identified leakages in the group's blood-brain barriers consistent with concussions. And what my dad's like, I just want to throw this in there, but I tell you all about what happened to my dad. Like the week after my 33rd birthday, he had an aneurysm, and what it was a malfunction in his blood-brain barrier. Something happened to him, which I know was directed energy weapon, because he started getting ringing in his ears, headaches, and all this crap the day after my 33rd birthday. And after a week, there was a malfunction basically in his blood-brain barrier, and it popped, it broke, and that's what caused the aneurysm. So I mean, this really does damage our blood-brain barriers and stuff like that. And if you get a person whose body will react a certain way to these directed energy weapons, they could die. They can easily die from this. And the people who are doing it may just be like, well, we're just torturing them and we're not really killing them and all this crap, but it doesn't matter. It can cause that by an accident or whatever. And then I'm sure that sometimes some of these groups do intentionally kill targeted individuals, not to scare anybody, you know, not to scare anybody, but I mean, we all know that happens. The statement of claim contends that Global Affairs actively interfered with the plaintiff's attempts to receive proper health care, including going so far as instructing hospitals to stop testing and treating them. Wait, let me read that again, because I wasn't. The Davies are among diplomats undergoing testing at Dalhousie University's Brain Repair Center. Some of that research, he said, has identified leakages in the group's blood-brain barriers consistent with concussions. The statement of claim contends that Global Affairs actively interfere with the plaintiff's attempts to receive proper health care, including going so far as instructing hospitals to stop testing and treating them. Wow. That happened according to the suit filed by the former diplomats, when 2 members of the group, frustrated with lack of information and delays, traveled on their own to the University of Pennsylvania, which had been treating affected U.S. diplomats and had developed an expertise on Havana syndrome. Diplomat Baker, and I mean, what they're saying, they've come up with this Havana syndrome. It's targeting. It's targeting with directed energy weapon systems and neuroweapons. You know, it may not be the same people targeting the Allens. Is that what the Davies? I'm sorry, the Davies. But it is, it is attacks. It is targeting with directed energy weapon systems and non-ionizing microwave radiation. Diplomat Baker, who was posted to Havana with her 2 young children, began experiencing symptoms of Havana syndrome in early 2017, including tinnitus, and I'm going to add this in, like sound, tonight, because it's not tinnitus, headaches, and vertigo. Her elementary school age daughter was nauseous and had headaches and heavy nosebleeds. Baker underwent medical testing that confirmed balance and vestibular issues, all that sensory input, tapping into sensory input. That's what remote neural monitoring is. So there's going to be a lot of signals, heavy signals to our vestibular systems, which involve areas of the brain and areas of the nervous system. And suggested the need for further investigation early in 2017, but was told follow-up testing would not take place for months. Distressed about the symptoms and lack of medical attention, Baker and Mrs. Davies went to the University of Pennsylvania at their own expense after officials were offered to assess and treat Canadians, but were turned down by the federal government. While there, the medical team confirmed Baker had a brain injury that was visible on MRI and similar to those suffered by affected American diplomats. Testing on her daughter disclosed post-concussion symptoms. Her son was cleared. And they're probably talking about Baker probably showed the brain injury was probably with his white matter tracts, which, which is shown in the DTI. It's a type of MRI, and I got a DTI, but I'm pretty sure that the neurologists that were looking at mine were not looking for what these people at the University of Pennsylvania were looking for, or completely lied about it. And that's not even like, I'm not even like, oh, they may have completely lied about it, but I don't want to say that. These doctors will lie about this. These doctors who are dealing with these diplomats in Canada, like in certain agencies in Canada, we're trying to not let them get medical attention. These doctors are scared out of their pants and out of their minds, and they don't want to go up against the government. And so they're going to sit there, and they're not going to say things when they're really wrong, and they're not going to help patients who are being murdered because it's the government, it's the government. We don't want to touch this. So a lot of doctors are, not even, some of them are being pretty cowardly, because they don't want their families murdered or targeted, which I don't know. I mean, that's a complicated thing. But then you've got doctors who are just all out, participating in it. So doctors are different. Like, we used to have doctors do no harm. Doctors would learn to do no harm and only help. Doctors, a good percentage of doctors, and there are still some great doctors out there. Don't get me wrong. There's some great psychiatrists and great doctors that do no harm and actually help patients, but there's a big percentage that are just like, get the money. If a government agency asks me to cooperate and put an implant in this innocent civilian I don't know, I'll go ahead and do that. We got a lot of that out there, and it's different than all doctors doing no harm, as it was, as it has been for 200 years or whatnot, or I guess since I can't remember the guy's name. The Hippocrates, back in ancient Greece, Hippocrates made the oath of do no harm. And then after that, doctors started to, work on that kind of philosophy and those kind of philosophies. Okay, so let's read this. Let's read this part over. While there, the medical team confirmed Baker had a brain injury that was visible on MRI and similar to those suffered by affected American diplomats. Testing on her daughter disclosed post-concussion symptoms. Her son was cleared. And then testing was interrupted, according to the statement of claim, when Canada used diplomatic channels in the United States to instruct the University of Pennsylvania Center for Brain Injury and Repair to stop testing Canadians. The assessments on the Canadians sparked action from the federal government, says Baker, who pushed for all the Canadian cohort of diplomats to get tested. All right. And then testing was interrupted, according to the statement of claim, when Canada used diplomatic channels in the United States to instruct the University of Pennsylvania Center for Brain Injury to stop testing Canadians. But the assessments on the Canadians sparked action from the federal government, who pushed for all Canadian cohort, so the Canadian government stepped in and wanted them to get tested. Okay. Shortly after the women and children returned from Pennsylvania, the Canadian government pulled diplomatic families out of Cuba and told those back in Canada suffering symptoms that they would all get assessed and treated. Today, Baker does not work, undergoes cognitive therapy, and still must live a very cocoon life because of ongoing symptoms and sensitivities. Her daughter, who was the first child tested at the University of Pennsylvania to show clear evidence of concussion, according to her mother, has visual impairment and other ongoing symptoms. While the Ottawa Five wait for some resolution, many of them remain anxious, even angry. Before taking legal action, they wrote to the Prime Minister, among others, looking for better care and support. Some have speculated that the federal government didn't want to jeopardize its long-standing diplomatic relationship with Cuba. My belief 21 months later is that decisions were made that simply did not prioritize us, not our health, not our safety, and not that of our families. How many of us can say that? How many of us can say exactly what that father says right there? My belief is that the decisions that are being made, that were made, simply do not prioritize us. Not our health, not our safety, and not that of our families. Okay, so it goes on. I am angry, yes, he says. I am disappointed and I am sad. I am sad because there is no justification for not having considered the personal and lifelong impact this was going to have on us. Members of all five families, including young children, suffer from neurological symptoms. Some are still unable to work full-time. Many have long-term effects, including cognitive, vestibular, and ocular motor dysfunction requiring therapy, special glasses, and special accommodation. One young child had such severe tinnitus-like symptoms that she was hearing 3 distinct sounds. She gave each one of them a name. One was Emily. Alan recounts receiving a tearful phone call from his wife, who had gone to the grocery store and couldn't find her way home. The lawsuit claims that Canada badly mishandled the crisis as it grew and failed to ensure the safety of the diplomats and their families. Despite knowing of the risks of Havana syndrome early on, Canada continued to put its diplomats and their family in harm's way by sending them to Havana and requiring them to stay there despite becoming aware of the high and growing risk that they would sustain the brain injuries associated with Havana syndrome. The government has confirmed 14 cases of diplomats and their families who have been affected while in Havana. With the latest confirmed case in January of this year, staff at the Canadian mission in Havana has been reduced from 16 to 8, and families are no longer permitted as part of posting. Alan, meanwhile, is back to work for Global Affairs Canada, but his wife is unable to return to the kind of life she led before the mysterious attacks. She is not the same person who went to Cuba, says Alan. She used to love to read. She can't stand reading now. She used to be a whiz with numbers, not anymore. She can't work. She is suffering from PTSD. How familiar does that sound, everybody in chat? I used to love to read too. I used to really love to read, like not just comic books, but other books. It gave me this comfort, and I was like, it was this organizational thing, but also creative, and it gave me this good feeling. Now I hate to read, and I can't pay attention. My brain's being microwaved. I've got just short-term attention span. 80 probably ADHD. I haven't looked into that, but that sounds very familiar to a lot of us. The government has confirmed 14 affected Canadian employees and relatives. Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister, Chrystia Freeland, has said the affected diplomats have Canada's utmost sympathy and support. Last month, the government said in a statement, the health, safety, and security of our diplomatic staff and their families remain our priority. The Canadian government continues to investigate the potential causes of the unusual health symptoms experienced by some Canadian diplomatic staff and their family members posted in Havana, Cuba. To date, no cause has been identified. there is no evidence that Canadian travelers to Cuba are at risk. And I mean, we all know that the cause is identified. It is directed energy weapon systems, remote microwave systems. These are weapon systems. Now, who did it? You know, I don't know. I guess there's still a lot of question there. But what it is, there's no doubt. There's no doubt what did this. Okay, so Canada has a positive and constructive relationship with Cuba. We have had close cooperation with the Cuban authorities since the health concerns of our employees posted in Havana first surfaced in the spring of 2017. And then this is part 2, Havana Syndrome Part 2, how a dog's brain may help solve the mystery of Canadian diplomats' Cuban nightmare. Havana Syndrome Part 3, insiders say ordeal has struck a nerve in Canada's diplomatic community. Havana Syndrome Part 4, what it could be and how experts will try to crack the case. So I'll probably do you know, a live stream for each of those parts and just read those articles and put them out. I'll be doing that this week. You know, probably just a live stream and just focus on those articles and reading through them. Okay, so there was something else I wanted to say at the end of it. You know, and that's why, you know, a lot of these embassy workers from Canada and America, like, I'm not sure if this family involved was this, but a lot of them were special agents, you know, maybe CIA or maybe part of an agency that was there to work on missions while still being an embassy worker, you know. So that's why, you know, that's why my main theory is that Cuban intelligence has these weapons. Cuban intelligence has either got these directed energy weapon systems, either Russia has given them that information, either Russia has worked with them to provide them with, you know, with how to manufacture these weapons, how to use them and things like that. Because you don't hear about any Russian embassy workers that got hit, right? We don't hear about any Russian embassy workers, you know, and then, so I really do think it was Cuban intelligence, and they were doing this to Americans that they thought would maybe that were double agents and things like that. So, you know, we'll just see more and more of this crazy stuff being used. You know, while it's used on us, it's being used out in wider aspects of society also. You know, just like in Hollywood, and then in the political world with these diplomats. And with the CIA and agencies like that, in that world, it's going to be played out in all of those different different parts of society, I guess. Okay, guys. So that's all I wanted to go through tonight. Let me come in the chat room, see how you guys are doing. Hey, Badger. Hey, Brock, man, how you doing? Yeah, Brock, I'll probably go through the other ones on some other live streams. Yeah. But all right, guys. Okay, I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Hey, Brock, how you doing, man? You've been doing some good interviews lately. But all right, guys, I'm getting kind of tired. That's all I have to go through for now. But I'll be doing some more live streams this week. I'm glad I did a live stream because I was just gonna do a regular video, but it was pretty long. So I'm glad I did a live stream. I hope all of you guys have a good Friday night. Is everybody doing something fun while y'all are watching this live stream? So what could be funner than this, right? All right, guys. I love y'all. That's it for now. More to come. More on the way. And if you guys like Brock, and you guys, if y'all are you know, putting out information, like, God bless you and God give you strength. Later, Paul and Seldridge Walker. Thanks for coming, guys, and Autumn and Future Knowledge and everything. And we're getting information out there. I Can't wait for the Canada conference. Tamara Friedman, glad I caught you live. I hope you have a great weekend. This was a great day today for all TIs. Thanks Tamara for coming. Yeah, and just I guess guys, if you want to know, because I don't have any specific times for doing live streams, it's kind of just whenever I feel good enough, whenever I've got the kind of the what do they call it? Bug in your rug. Whenever I get a hair, whenever I feel like I can do it, I do it. So if you do want to know, yeah, I love you guys too, Brock. I love all you guys. I wish that this was going faster. I wish that I just wish that this was going faster and people in the public were picking it up and it was being fixed faster for us, and it wasn't such a fight uphill. But we are still going to get there. We are still going to get there. But guys, if you do want to know about my live streams, so you can come on when I start them, I think you have to subscribe and hit the little bell so that they'll send you a notification whenever I'm doing a live stream. I actually thought about like picking out a time during the week to definitely do one at that specific time. But I did that when I moderated conference calls. I did that. Yeah, Tamara Friedman says it's on the way. Technology going down. Yeah, it's going to be brought out into the light. Everything that happens is brought out. Everything that happens in darkness is brought out into the light. It's a win. It's not an if. It's a win thing. So this definitely will come out. But I mean, that's why we've all got to speak out about it. I know that a lot of people are like, well, I sound crazy when I talk about this stuff, and some people don't believe it, but it exists. It is the truth. So day by day, as this goes on, everything that points to this happening is going to support everything that we say, because it's really happening. So we don't have to worry about like, oh, I said this and then somebody's disproven it or something like that. No, everything that we're talking about is going to be vindicated. We are going to be vindicated, and it's going to be more and more as days go by that we will be vindicated. Dark to light. Tamara Friedman says dark to light. Yes. Yes. I'm going to check. Okay, so Tamara Friedman also has a channel. Tamara and then space Friedman, Friedman. I'm probably subscribed to you. I've probably watched your videos before and subscribed, but if I'm not, I'll definitely subscribe to you, Tamara. What happens with me is like I'll see a targeted individual's video that I really like, and I'll subscribe, and then I won't get any notifications. They won't be put into my recommendeds or anything, so I kind of lose track for a little while. And then maybe like a couple months later or a year later, I'll see a video and I'll be like, oh, I'm subscribed to them, but I haven't been watching all the videos. So I really have to like have all you guys subscribe. Like on my channel, I try and like as many videos that are really good, that I really kind of resonate with. But I got to keep track of the targeted individual channels that I really like. I'm going to go check it out. So Tamara Friedman, everybody check her channel out also. I'm going to sub if I haven't. Let me see. Let me see if I'm subbed to you. I better be. Your name sounds very, very familiar. Your name sounds familiar. Hold on. Tamara, have you ever come to any of the conference calls? I wonder if I know you from there. Let's see. No, I am not subscribed. Okay. Well, I just subscribed to you too, Tamara. So everybody, go check out Tamara's video, Tamara Friedman's videos if you have not, and subscribe. Show her support, and also, please, like this video and try and subscribe, because we want. If you this is the main thing, guys. I'm not just saying subscribe and like my videos. If you watch a targeted individual's videos or a survivor of this, we'll call ourselves like spiritual warriors, survivors, not targeted individual, but a targeted citizen. If you watch a targeted citizen's videos and you really like what they're saying, and it's like, oh, I think like that, that's what my research is pointing to, you know, go ahead and like their videos, subscribe to their channel, because it's gonna kind of fight against these algorithms that YouTube has to push down information that national security wants pushed down. It's going to fight against that, and then you'll get more people being recommended these videos who watch other targeted individual videos. So we really want to smash. Yeah. Yeah, Brock says like button, smash that button, smash that button, you smash it. I watch all those guys. I play a lot of video games, so I watch those guys with the they'll play video games live and stuff like that, and they're like, smash that like button, smash that like button, go ahead and subscribe, hit that bell, smash that like button. And I started making YouTube videos, I think it was like 6 years ago, and it was just to get information out about this. Like, I don't think I would ever make a YouTube channel. I kind of thought about it, and I was like, well, I like video games a lot, and if I wasn't targeted, I might have made a YouTube channel playing video games live. I might have done that, because that's a pretty cool thing. You know, you can go and find secrets in games and then put them out. But I was like, 6 years ago, making YouTube videos, I wasn't affected by YouTube culture at all. I was just like, okay, I'm putting videos out on YouTube, but I find that there's like this, it's like against my will, I'm being affected by YouTube culture. Like, I'll look at my views and I'm like, why don't I have, I want more views. There should be more people looking at this information, or like, oh, I got 2 dislikes and stuff like that. And it's like, I'm like, is that my thought? Are my thoughts going there just because I've been using YouTube so long? Or are my attackers doing some kind of remote neural manipulation where I actually care about that? But that's one of my main things. One of my main things is just to put out what God puts in my heart, put it out in a video, not to get a bunch of views or whatever, because like mostly targeted individuals are watching my videos, but just to put out truthful information, not try and do the what is it, Brock, when you do a title clickbait? I don't want to do clickbait or anything like that, Yeah. So Brock, you said we should do a live stream together sometime, Kyle. I'd love to come on the show. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm just not, like, right now. I'm getting hit really hard, and right now I don't really want to start doing a bunch of interviews. But yeah, I mean, if it's just like, talking about it, having somebody on, having a conversation, yeah, let's go for it. Let's talk some more. You got my number. Send me a text. We need to get on the phone and kind of talk about it. But if I do anything like that, I really just, it's going to be a conversation. We'll just talk about it. You can talk about your experiences or whatever. I don't really want to have to do, like interviews. I guess. Yeah, Brock. Yeah, like not an interview, just to talk about it. We could like kind of interviewing each other. That's the thing that I think would work good. You get two TIs and you're kind of interviewing each other, because you have a channel, I have a channel, and like I ask you questions about what's going on and just kind of interviewing each other, And Autumn says, hopefully trolls are not going to otherwise. They love to do it, especially at the end of the live stream. Oh, give a thumbs down. Yeah, I got this troll named Tom Green. Hey, Steven Starr. I got this troll named Tom Green, and like somebody had texted me. I think it was Nobody had texted me and said you had a lot of trolls on your last video. And I went, and like Tom Green had like done 3 comments, calling me schizophrenic and blah blah blah. And I just I mean, it doesn't hurt my feelings. Like, I don't know if he is like a troll, because it seems like all the real trolls are gone. Like, they've understood that this is actually happening. So they're like, okay, well, we're not going to troll anymore because this is actually happening. So yeah, Charles, he's a famous troll. I actually do think that he is. If you look at the stuff that that Dr. Ronnie Kilda put out about community-placed agents and people who they think have some kind of aptitude with, you know, radio or social media or things like that, they get assigned to do that. You know, they get assigned to come in and say, y'all are schizophrenic, blah, blah. Because if he looked at any of the information, like if he looked at anything about James Giordano, if he listened to me and because he comes to all my videos, he's commenting on my videos. If he was looking at the information, he wouldn't just say, hey man, you're friggin' schizophrenic, you know. He'd say like, I still don't believe in this, but man, you're putting a lot of good evidence for it, you know. So I don't really know what he is, but the funny thing is, what I've started to do, could be wrong, could be right. I don't know. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel good. But he'll put a comment like saying like, you're on medication or something like that, and you're schizophrenic. And all I comment now back to him, I reply, are you mad at me because I'm having sex with your mom? Or he'll say something, I'll be like, yeah, that's what your mom said when I was doing her the other. And because it's just so ridiculous. Like everything that he is putting forward to try and troll is so ridiculous that all I can think of is like, I'm not going to really, like I already, you know, a long time ago. Yeah. He's showing his face. Definitely Autumn, but at least he is showing his face. So many trolls don't. And then Brock says, yeah, that Tom Green guy is probably the same guy as the Green Hunter guy. Yeah, they probably have a lot of different names. They probably make a lot of different, what's it called? A lot of different handles on there. Well, Charles says, yeah, I think they are all the same people or bots. But Charles, they do actually, within this program, just like they have community-placed agents who do gang stalking, they have community-placed agents that are hired to go on alternative media, to go on to like call into radio shows, comment on chat boards and everything, to say how crazy this is and how crazy we are to discredit us. There are actually paid people, and they're working with, you know, these private contractors. They're working with DHS fusion centers, you know, InfraGard. They're trained to do this. They're trained to discredit us on social media, you know, and mess with our groups. People on the conference calls, you know, I'm not saying everybody on the conference calls. There's a ton of awesome real TIs looking for help and giving help on those conference calls, but dude, you don't know who's coming into those conference calls. Yeah, and Autumn says yes, that's their job. And I think you got people coming into those conference calls that it's their job to disrupt things. Some of them, it may not be their job to disrupt things. It may be their job to collect certain information about target individuals. Then some, it may be their job not to disrupt things or collect information, but to try and sway the narrative a certain way. So you've got them doing all these different little missions, evil missions that they do to try and keep us from getting as far as we need to get the stop, you know. And we'll plow through them, you know. So Brock says a schizophrenic can't have an intelligent conversation without going down a different rabbit hole every 5 seconds. Kyle is nothing like that. He is on point and well-spoken. Thank you, Brock. And the thing is, if you notice with me, like I feel like I can't verbally communicate as well as I once did because my memory is so bad. And so I'll be like, oh, that word, blah, blah. And like, I'll kind of trip over my words sometimes, but I can read. Like I've been a good reader my whole life. Like I've read it levels above what I was supposed to from a very young age, and also read comic books. So that's been exercised like with my brain and everything. And it seems like this targeting is messing with certain parts of my brain and certain parts of my nervous system. But I can read. I can read the same, unless I'm like real tired. But that's different. Like if I'm tired and I can't pay attention to reading. But like my brain is not affected when it comes to reading things. And it seems like somebody with real schizophrenia, they would have problems like interpreting information, you know. But I'm still like, I'm surprised. I'm surprised because I'm like, wow, I felt like crap and my body hurts so bad and I'm having trouble remembering words, but I can read through an article and actually enjoy it and, and read it well. I think that any psychiatrist should look at that, should look at targeted individuals' videos. And I think that a lot of you guys too, a lot of targeted individuals read some articles on your videos. And I think that any psychiatrist should be able to look at that and say, this person is not insane. This person is going through something. And I think a lot of the good ones, I really do think a lot of the good doctors and a lot of good psychiatrists are like saying, wow, this stuff is going on, but they're too scared to come out and say anything about it. And they don't think they can make an impact on it. And people are really trying to figure out, like, what do we do about this, So Charles Hall asks, have you heard of carbon dioxide amplifiers? No, Charles. I haven't heard of that. Autumn says, we all know that, Badger. Autumn says, Kyle, the torture is brutal. We understand the huge effort you and others do. Yeah, thank you. And yeah, I went on like Ella's call, and Ella's, she's got like another radio show. She's doing the conference call, and then taking care of her family also. And I'm just like, and then Sue coming in all the time too, and she's being brutally targeted. And I'm just like, man, those women are very strong. And not to mention like Dr. Horton, who's like just a hoss, and she is a bulldog, and she's, she's working on this night and day, trying to get court cases through. Romola D, Dr. Karlstrom, all these people are targeted. Like, you'll have to understand all those people that are like doing Richard Lighthouse. But there's so many that Karen Stewart, Millicent, Dr. Millicent Black is being targeted so heavily in her joints and V2K and everything. But she, makes time to get all the documentation, all the things that she's learned, to go and do interviews and round tables and stuff like that. That's what I kind of think would be fun sometimes, like, Brock, is to get some people and do some different round tables like that. The thing is, I feel like I don't want to, like, I will, and we'll talk about it, but it's just, I don't want to like do some interviews and then not do it for a while or something like that. People kind of, they start to, if you do something, they start to expect you to kind of do that kind of format. And sometimes, I don't feel enough energy, and I'm just like, well, I just want to put my information out, and, I'll go to the conference calls to talk about it. But, I don't know. I'm very open to that. I'm very open to just talking, on podcasts. Like, next level has been doing some awesome podcasts. Brock. So guys, check out the Badger Report, the space Badger space report. And that's Brock. He has an awesome channel. He's been doing some interviews. Kevin Christian has been doing a bunch of interviews lately. And I haven't had a chance to check those out. And they're kind of like, 30 to 45-minute interviews. So people are getting with it, So Brock, you're awesome, man. You are good at explaining things. The trolls are just reading. Yeah, that's all they can do is make baseless accusations. Yeah, their accusations are crazy. Like, that's why I leave those on there. I know you can like delete comments, but I want people to see that. I want people to look at my information and to see this guy going, you're schizophrenic. And they'll be like, that guy's lying. That guy's saying he's schizophrenic, and look at this information. It's showing that this is actually happening. I want that to be there so that when way more and more people figure out that this is going on, they look at that and they say, what were those people doing? Screaming at these targeted individuals and calling them names and like, making our lives harder. So Charles Hall says carbon dioxide is heavy gas, so it amplifies sound. Yeah, well, we breathe out carbon dioxide, right? Breathe in oxygen, breathe out carbon dioxide. But is it like, let's read on. So Brock says, I'm interested in learning more on that, Charles. And so then Charles says, but can can be demodulated sound with ultrasound in midair, because the ultrasound makes high and low pressure waves. It demodulates in midair and then can be forced back right when it's about to hit. Yeah, well, it seems like anything that you would have to emit carbon dioxide to fool with all this would be like kind of hard to do. But I don't know if you could find a cheap way. And then carbon dioxide is not good to have around us, because breathing in carbon dioxide hurts us. So I think there's some simpler solutions, but it's good to learn about that stuff. You know, it's good to learn, you know, how carbon dioxide would affect this. We can just start breathing out a lot around our heads. We'll stop it. Well, Autumn, I think he does. I don't. Maybe you've talked to Kevin. I thought that I think he focuses on R&M. I don't know if you've talked to him. Maybe you know more about him, but yeah. See, he says he's like you're on R&M. If you're your target individual, you're on R&M. I mean, that's mainly what he talks about. But he does, you know, Autumn, he does talk about being hit in the groin, being hit in the head and stuff like that. So I think he does believe in directed energy weapons. I think people just, when they talk about this, they'll get on a term or something like that, and they're using that term to describe everything. And then to me, that term would mean something specific about it, but to them, it's like, it's everything about it. Charles, wow, they are messing. And Autumn says Kevin got a video about it. Brock says I delete and block all trolls, just my preference. Says yeah, and Brock, that's what I like. Any targeted individual that's doing a video, if you want to delete negative comments, by all means do that. If it makes you feel better and it makes you go along with get along with what you're doing on the videos and the information you're getting out, do that. It's my personal preference, because I want everybody to see everything. I want non-targeted individuals and targeted individuals to see everything. I know that, like Brian too says, don't communicate with perps. You cut yourself off from perps. Don't communicate at all. But what he ends up doing, and if he's watching, I love you, Brian. I love you, Brian, too. Cut you off from everybody. You cut yourself off from the world. So it's like, even if I'm going to have a conversation with somebody who they may use the remote neural manipulation with that activity that the perpetrator's doing, I've got to leave myself open to conversation with real people, and also with things that perps put into the comment section. That's going to be laid bare one day. People are going to know that this is happening, and they're going to see that. Targets are going to see that, and they're going to be like, wow, look at what a piece of S that person was. So it's going to reveal them even more. It's going to come back on that guy if I leave those comments there. But I do understand that, you know, just if it makes you comfortable, helps you to move forward, delete them by all means. I've thought about it before. I was like, I may delete those, but I like leaving it there. And I just, you know, I'll leave comments. You kind of just want to resist with the same amount of pressure somebody that's an awful, evil person is coming at you. So when he's saying something ridiculous like you're schizophrenic, blah, 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 and he's not looking at any of my information, that means he's not here to look at the information. That means he's here to specifically just say a bunch of crap. So I just go, hey, are you mad because I had sex with your mother? And it seems to kind of balance it out, because then it's like I'm negating that negative thing that he was trying to do by just pushing something back on him that's going to make him kind of mad, because he got mad about that, and then he started posting like 3 comments, and I try and just not even think about him. I'm like, oh, it's Tom Green. He came into a chat room one time, and he was like, hey, Kyle, blah, blah. And I was like, hey, Tom Green. It's like, just don't take them seriously, you know. They're idiots. Like, they're trying to stop women and children, trying to stop them from being helped while they're being murdered and tortured. So they're ridiculous people. These people murdering us and microwaving us, they're working on targeting more women and children and microwaving them. They're ridiculous. They're ridiculously evil. You can't take them seriously. You know, take people, focus on the people who you can take seriously, who have a good, you know, good moral social compass, who are trying to do good things in life, who are intelligent. Those are people I take seriously. And I'll joke with them, but I'll make sure they know I'm joking. I'll make sure they know when I'm serious. And these people who I don't take seriously, just say anything to them to make yourself feel better and to keep moving. They don't matter. That guy, if he is chosen to, you know, not watch the information about this and not help people, he's a joke. Like his life is a joke. So Charles says, wow, they were messing with my internet hardcore. Then again, they mess it up for 5 minutes. Yeah, you know, my attackers mess with my phone a lot. And they mess with my PS3. I'm surprised. But the thing is, Charles, I go back, like I'll watch some of my live stream to make sure it didn't get messed up. And I noticed that, like, even though you guys in the chat room, y'all are probably seeing a smooth live stream, they're skipping my computer. They're making it so my computer has to deal with a lot of stuff in the background, and then this program, like Google Hangouts, runs a lot slower. And then when I watch my live stream back, it's like very choppy. Whole sentences are taken out, and I know that that's actually my attackers. That's actually my attackers. What they're doing is they're running background programs on my computer that I can't see up front, and it's just slowing everything down that my computer does. So my attackers they do these weird kind of hacking things that it's not like hacking with code, but it's just getting in there with a certain program and some kind of what's it called? Some kind of administrator program, you know, and then running a bunch of crap on my computer, making it harder to use. So so Charles Hall says, did you know the South Pole is really the North Pole? I did not know that. Autumn says, yes, they are here just to attack you. Yep. Yeah, they're trying to tailor our attacks and our torture to the person that they are attacking. Oh, is it because they've shifted? Yeah, so Charles Hall said, did you know the South Pole is really the North Pole? Charles Hall says, yeah, they are forcing electron through the process. Oh, okay, that's what you're talking about, the computer. But the South Pole is really the North Pole? How does that work? We got to talk off these live streams, Charles. You got to text me or something, or send me an email. You got some very interesting, intelligent ideas. And it's like, I think you'd have to explain these things, especially the carbon dioxide thing. I think we have to talk about that. It's just putting it on like in a chat room on live stream. I'm like, oh, you know, you need to explain that more to me, at least, you know. So no, it actually always has been. The North Pole has always been the South Pole. Yeah, magnets repel from one another, so north will repel south. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Brock, they always do that thing with me where I go to scroll down on the YouTube comments. When I scroll down, it goes up instead. It keeps me from being able to make comments a lot of times. Yeah, like I'll be looking through stuff trying to get information, and like y'all can't see this, but I'm like scrolling down. I'll be scrolling down, and it's like a long bunch of videos on a YouTube channel to find the one that I want it to find. So I have to go, and it'll shoot up to the top of the screen like it's being controlled by somebody else, you know. They do all kinds of stuff. Seems like my attackers at the moment, or the past like year, have been really focusing on just remote neural manipulation, really hooking into my nervous system and just making me feel as much pain, trying to get control of emotions and kind of lines of thought that I'm having. And then they've toned down the extreme physical torture a bit. Sometimes it's really heavy, but they will pull off of that. and it's just whatever protocol they're running. They're literally running a protocol where their manager is saying, and probably they, you know, work with psychiatrists and things like that that work for the contractors. They get together every couple of months and they say what's working, what's not working. Okay, we're going to do this because we need to get to the remote neural manipulation, you know, to this level and do this. But they will like still, like lately I'll be sitting here and right now they're doing it. It's like this, right? All this section of my stomach is hot. It's like hot and I can feel it's hot. I can't feel, no, actually I can. The stream of energy is coming right there, but it heats this whole area up, and then my body starts getting hot and it really hurts. It causes a lot of soreness down my side. It's like, I know a lot of people say, you know, write down everything these people do. You know, people with V2K need to write down everything they say, but it's like, I would just, my life would be like, you know, just writing what these people, because they're just constantly doing stuff 24 hours a day. So I think people who are just getting attacked 24 hours a day, which is a lot of us, I don't know any targeted individual who's not getting attacked 24 hours a day, but I think with the affidavits and things like that, we need to, like, at the end of the week, you know, go through and pick out like like the worst stuff they did to us that week. Maybe like on a Friday or Saturday, or maybe, I don't know. I guess I probably wouldn't want to do it on a Sunday, but to go through and write down some of the worst stuff that they've done to us. So Autumn says, yes, the same with me, but I use a rubber water bottle with cold. Yeah, that's a good idea. I want to get some of those ice packs and put them in my freezer so I can put those on my head and put those on my body. And then drink more water. I need to drink more water because I'm drinking this. This is what I'm drinking, you know. And I just drank, like, I picked up a milk jug full of water, a jug of water the other night, and I just like sat there and just gulped like probably a cup of water, and I felt like my brain, like I just felt lighter and I felt better. It's like the water was getting to the parts that my body needed. And Autumn says rubber is really good shielding. Yes, yes. And Brock asked, do the Epsilon salt baths? Yeah, they work. The Epsilon, I'm sorry, I can't talk. Badger says, do the Epsom salt baths work? They do. And I'd switch those Epsom salt bath. I'd take an Epsom salt bath. I'd wait about 5 hours because you don't want to leave salt on your body because it's conductive. And if your attackers are at a certain level, they'll know that they can switch the frequency to more of an electric than magnetic, and that salt's going to be really conductive. The external hits will hurt your body more. So if you're going to do an Epsom salt bath, you know, take it, and a couple hours later do borax with the palm olive with L-lactate acid. Now the problem is that I haven't been sticking with it. I'll do like a borax and palm olive bath, but then I'm like, oh, the Epsom salt baths make me feel gross. It makes my hair feel gross, and it just makes me feel sticky and stuff like that. And so I put it off. I don't do it as much. But if you do it, like I'm telling you, if you do that, any targeted individual, if you do that for a month, every day, do an Epsom salt bath and a borax bath every day for a month, you will see decreases in V2K, decreases in body pain. You will see at least 50%. It's amazing. Like, it's amazing. Yeah, Autumn saying Epsom salt for a long time treatment. Yeah. Wait, Charles says because it boosts your dopamine, salt is alkaline. So Epsom salt boosts your dopamine. I may need to. I did not know that. Yeah, vinegar too. There's tons of, you know. I want to go. I've been wanting to go do a video, do a live stream of just everything I do for defense. Like, we all sit here on a live stream. Yeah, Nas. It's my Nas. I drink so much sugar. It's just, it's really bad. But I want to sit down, and I think I'm gonna have to take it slow, kind of, and just start going through everything that I work for defense, even if I don't think y'all could, because I have some kinds of defense that are like these Q-wave plates that I bought a long time ago, which help a little bit because of what they're putting out, like the Q-wave defenders. But just go through everything. Maybe do like 2 live streams where I just go through everything that I do for defense, everything that I've learned, even some things that I may not use all the time, but I've heard that it really helps. And then you guys in the chat, you know, y'all put in stuff that y'all are using that helps. And we just go through like 2 long live streams. And then I put, you know, the title of them would be Tons of Ideas for Defense. I think that may be one of the most important things that we could do right now, because we got a lot of people out there who are hurting a lot from this. They don't really know what to do. If we could just get 2 live streams, put the titles on them, many ideas, and then people could pick from those ideas and try things. And I'd have them in, and, you know, I'd make a little series. I'd put it in a special place on my channel so people could go there, and we just try and be really thorough as we can be. And I'm talking supplements, vitamins, cleansing for the skin, cleansing for your insides, passive shielding, you know, little tech devices like I have the Altera whole house plugs, you know, Q-wave defenders, Q-wave plates, David Case's CD, the Faraday bunker, different materials to use. What's that one that Neil's always talking about? It's the Linkstat, and then there's another one that's like a carbon-based material. Yeah, and that makes me think, Charles. Yeah, carbon-based materials can really block these microwaves. Silicone also, and things like this. But I mean, I'd want to go through 2 videos and really focus on that. Y'all tell me some ideas, because ABC was telling me some ideas that I don't do that he does, and he gets a lot of help from his V2K. But we just sit there, and I'm talking like maybe 2 to 3 hours on the first live stream, 2 to 3 hours on the second live stream, and we just do another. And I know that people have done conference calls like that. I've made videos just with defensive stuff, but we just do it again. Just keep doing that. And I think that we also need. Does anybody know? Well, I'll find out from you guys or somebody after this live stream. But you know, there needs to be a website with just all defensive ideas, everything. But the problem is, I think, is that people disagree on what works and what doesn't work. I think that we need to just do something where it's like, okay, some of these may not work for you in your specific situation, but we're just putting all the ideas that have worked for targeted individuals, and we'll go from like, you know, cheapest to most expensive. Because like I would say, I tell targets, yeah, I got some Q-wave defenders, but it was really expensive when I had a job. I'd never tell them to do that now unless they were just rich, unless they just had thousands of dollars to waste, or, you know, like $2,000 to waste or something like that. But we would go through the cheapest things first, and maybe that would be a little bit too hard for me because I'm very unorganized. So we might just try and make 2, you know, live streams, and I really want to do that. I really feel like that when we get a lot of, because I know that I have videos and there's been conference calls where everybody's talked about stuff, and other people have YouTube videos about defense and stuff like that, but they get lost in all the videos and stuff. And then new targeted individuals are like, what do I use? What do I use for defense? And they're asking on conference calls. If we could make 2 very, what's the word? Okay, having a hard time with words right now. Extensive, covering as much as we can with defense. Covering as much as we can with defense. And you guys put things in. I'll do it where I'll basically do the whole live stream Well, I guess I'd want to open some windows and maybe show some of the supplements, you know, go to lessemf.com and things like that. But I'm really thinking about that, just sitting down on 2 long live streams and just going through everything that we can think of. I think that would help a lot of the newer TIs or TIs that keep saying, well, nothing's working for me, give them more ideas like that. But all right, guys, I'm getting kind of tired. I'm going to play some video games and stuff, and I'll probably, you know, either this weekend or at the beginning of the week. Yeah, okay. Brock, Badger Report says, where's Ashton, my being punk, knows a lot of good stuff about nutrition as a defense. Yeah, she knows a lot about supplements. So Charles Hall says, stop drinking it and you will have more testosterone. So stop drinking my NOS. Yeah, I need to drink more water. I've seen her videos before. I haven't seen her lately. I saw that she did like a video series, and I think that's what a lot of targeted individuals do. You know, they make a bunch of videos, and then they kind of, you know, they're like, well, I've kind of said it. I've said what I need to say. I've said what I think about this. And you know, I've thought about that sometimes, but with me, it's like I probably said all that I should have had to say about this. But with me, it gets to be a little bit like there is so much information and new information. I really want to be able to put that out, but it also, I want to keep giving the example. Like I keep not giving the example like I'm some kind of leader or something like that, but keep making videos so other people will be like, okay, well, he's getting really targeted bad, but he keeps making videos. So, you know, kind of inspire people to do that. So I don't want to quit. You know, there's still so much information out there. There's still so much information I can go through. And sometimes it, you know, it gets to be where I'm just like, I feel like I've said everything and it drives me crazy to keep talking about this stuff. But it's just, I don't know, God's putting it in my heart for right now. This is what I need to be doing. Probably would be a good idea to have some conversations with, you know, people like you, Brock, and Charles, who has a video. Y'all just comment. We just have some conversations about it and stuff. That, I think that would make it maybe a little bit more fun. Get some more ideas in here. I'm trying to kind of do that with the chat room. I want y'all to participate. And it's really awesome on my videos. Sometimes I see Dr. Horton's chat room and I'm like, man, she'd never be able to like talk to her chat room because there's just like so many people in there and they're all talking about different things. But you guys, like, y'all really make it easy. Like all you guys in my chat, y'all make it very easy to talk to y'all, like, and to make it something that's going to help other target individuals because y'all are like on the ball and stuff. So I really appreciate that. I just appreciate who y'all are, you know. All right, guys, I think I'm gonna wrap it up. Thanks for coming, and Brock, I'll talk to you. We'll talk this weekend. Yeah, Brock saying I'm gonna go crash out too. Yeah, I gotta play some video games and kind of just get my mind. Maybe listen to some music. Yeah, Charles later, man. I don't know, like, you need to email me. I know you've emailed me before, but we need to exchange numbers or something. In Autumn, you too. Thanks for coming, guys. I love you guys. I hope y'all have a rest of a good Friday night, Saturday morning. I hope y'all are doing something that's kind of fun and have some stuff to get y'all out of pain, you know. So future knowledge saying certain low frequency waves penetrate the earth. Later, Brock. Later, Charles. Thanks for coming, future knowledge. Thank you, Autumn, and everybody else. Laters. Live long and prosper. Let's keep going. Let's keep swinging at this thing. All right. I love you guys. I'll see you on the next one. All right.